available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel. This is Ken with Weber Water Resources. I'm out here at Trillium off of Sun Valley Parkway. I'm waiting on fuel. I think it's going to be a while. He was all the way over at Fort McDowell here at 6 o'clock this morning. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. It's, I don't want you to come all the way out here and just sit and wait. But I was going to give you a heads up when you're about an hour away from being ready to go and stuff. But if you can, just give me a call when you get a chance.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, Steve. Hey, give me a call, please. Thank you.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, this is Roger. I know that work is trying to get hold of you, but I'm less concerned about them than I am about you. Give me a call back. Let me know what's going on. If I need to pick up somewhere or whatever, just give me a holler. I'll make sure you're okay. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm currently searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this evening's Q&A. I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. I'm here doing this Q&A to give everybody who has been supporting this efforts to find Daniel, who's been showing a lot of love to my family, who have a lot of interest in this case, opportunity to ask questions, get answers about the case, learn more about the case. Just share this experience with me. My son, Daniel, as you know, is from South Carolina. We are from South Carolina, natives of South Carolina, my family. He was born and raised there. He graduated from high school called AC Flora High School. He went on from there to the College of Charleston, where he decided to major in geology, the field of geology. In his studies, he graduated with honors and took his career in geology, his degree, out into Arizona to make Arizona great. My son landed his first job in life with a company called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, also called Matrix New World. There is an engineering company. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. Is what he does. He get assignments to go to various well sites all over Arizona, and those well sites, like I said, those wells have to produce at least 100 years of water. And Daniel's job is to determine that, as well as they check the viability of those wells. The water had to be tested, make sure it's drinkable, things like that. So very grateful that my son had decided to do something we talked about a long time ago, expand his horizons, leave South Carolina. Him and his siblings know that. He have three. There's three of them out of South Carolina, and doing their jobs, doing their careers. And Daniel is one of them. He's the youngest of the four, and like I said, he had his siblings to look up to. But Daniel's a very challenging person. He challenges himself as well as he challenges his siblings. He challenges everything he does and better himself. My son started off in Arizona. We expected him to come back home to get set to go to Arizona if that's where he want to live. No, he came out to Arizona for a class they had in Flagstaff. He decided to stay in Arizona. He called me and called his mother, I'm sure, but he called me and said, Dad, I'm going to stay. Thought he was going to come back to South Carolina. We can get him set up. But no, he stayed out there after the class. He moved in with a friend that he met out in Arizona, and landed, like I said, landed his first job with Matrix New World. The ironicity to that is that the owners of Matrix New World, the mother and the father, is the person that owned the Matrix New World is the mother and father of Daniel's friend, one of Daniel's friends from college, one of his college buddies. So that's who owns Matrix New World. And of course, because of that, Dan was able to get in contact with them through his friendship with their son, and was able to land that job with Matrix New World straight out of college. And like I said, he stayed in Arizona, got himself a little cheap little car. He sent me pictures of it. Of course, he's been my son and I. We have 2-hour conversations every time we talk. So those conversations are very interesting. I mean, hey, look, got this car. I was really worried about it. What send me some pictures of it, and wanted to make sure that everything's with anything that he had problems with, mechanical wise. If he couldn't figure it out himself, he asked me questions. He knows what I do. I fix cars. I can fix cars. And so, of course, it's some of the things that I taught him when he was younger. Him and his siblings, he was able to utilize those techniques and those skills to keep that car running. He was very much responsible with that. I was really proud of him on that from being a young man. It teaches him some responsibility as a grown man. There's some things I believe that men should know is how to take care of things like that. In case they get married one day, they can take care of their wife's car. They can take care of the situation. They know how to use their hands. So you don't always have to pay people. You can use your hands to do things for yourself. And so that's the skills that Daniel learned. And he utilized those skills along with, like I said, the first vehicle he had here in Arizona, landing his first apartment, for himself. He did have a roommate for a short moment. That roommate moved on into another place outside of his residence. And so Daniel was there alone. And from that point on, he moved from out of Phoenix. He lived in Phoenix, and then he moved into a city called Tempe. That's right outside of Phoenix. And that's where he resides. And so, like I said, working for Matrix New World, Daniel, very happy about that job. Of course, when he first let the job, he called me and, hey, look, Dad, this is a company that I work for. My auntie and I, we was doing a lot of research, looking up at that Matrix New World. We saw it was a small company, it's a big enough company, but a small company growing, and they have different locations across the country. And was very impressed. Really nice outfit for him to have on his first job, engineering company. To go along with his geology degree. To start off life, I used to have conversations with Daniel all the time. Matrix New World could be a stepping stone. That's just what you start off with. And from that point, you go out and venture out more and learn more about what you want to do as a person. Of course, over the time, Dan did express to me a lot that, his entrepreneurial spirit came out. And, hey, look, I want to own my own company. I want to do my own things. This is the things I'm learning from Matrix New World, as well as to be able to take that farther in life, to go further along and take that. And like I said, he just wanted to be a millionaire before he's 30, as well as he wanted to be able to travel abroad and learn about other people's cultures. But ultimately, like I said, be an entrepreneur spirit, want to open his own business and run his own company to go into geology field or whatever he wanted to do. So I'm really proud of him. Like I said, his goal was to, like I said, move on, possibly live in California. So those type deals. And but on June 23rd, that had been short. His dreams and aspirations have been cut short. I did have a conversation with my son, like at least about 2 days, 2 or 3 days. It was 2 days before Daniel went missing, and everything seemed normal. Same conversation he and I would have. It's a lengthy conversation. I tried to really edit that out. One day I could be able to share some of those with you guys in public. But to this date, for over years, it's kind of hard trying to get that edited out. So things that me and him personally talk about don't definitely need that into the public. And so those things that we talk about from father son is something that's normal that me and Daniel does. We have our long conversations. Like I said, it's always 2 hours. If I'm busy and Daniel happen to call, he already know. I'll tell, hey son, hey, I'm gonna call you back, or vice versa. And because I know when that time comes, when I actually talk to him, it's going to be a lengthy call. It's not a hey, how you doing, Dad? Oh, I'm doing good, son. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. Well, take care of yourself. We'll talk later. No, our conversations are very long, detailed. They like to ask questions. He's very inquisitive. He's a very smart, intelligent guy. He like to give his opinion, talk about what's going on in his day. If he got travel plans, where he's going to travel. Like I told you guys the story, and when he was in college, how he he described that he wanted to go to Puerto Rico, and I was against it because he was in college. Saying I'm a bit more so concerned about grades and things like that. Don't take your focus off of school. Go and hang out with your friends. No, you need to stay at school. And so, but he found his way of going anyway. Of course, talking to his mother. He and his the mother now are divorced. So I'm sure he called her because the way she called me when she asking me to give him the money to get back from Puerto Rico. I would not budge on it. I said, hey, you found your way there. You need to find your way back. Type bill, playing hardball, father, hard love. And of course, he taught his mother to give him that money to get back, of course. But the point is, I'm saying that was the story I gave you guys on his college days. But like I said, he and I would have our long conversations. We talk. Those are things I miss. I miss a whole lot. I miss all those conversations that we have. Some people hear me say this a lot. It may sound kind of strange, but all a person who have a missing loved one can understand this. I miss all the times that I felt aggravated or I felt some things. Hey, look, I miss all of that about my son. I miss every little detail, good, bad, and the ugly. And so I just want to make sure you guys understand when it comes to family. Like I was saying this morning, we got Thanksgiving that had came along a couple of days ago now. I hope you guys have really spent time with your loved ones. Appreciate everything that they are, everything they are not, those type deals, because it's always going to come a time where you can sometimes miss those things. So then, unfortunately, in my family, is because Daniel's missing. So I don't want to need that to happen to your family. I pray that God it never does. But I'm telling you guys, it's possible. Anything is possible. I didn't know. It's like winning the lottery. It's the opposite of winning the lottery. This is a bad thing. What's the chances of someone in your family becoming missing? Very small chance. Very unlikely to ever happen in your life. But it happens. It happens to thousands of people's families every year. And unfortunately, it's a reality of life in the United States with all this technology. But that's what happens. So we need to make sure we always constantly telling our loved ones we love them. I like to say when we was growing up, hey, look, don't let like the Bible say, don't let the sun go down in wrath. Don't allow yourself to leave a household or leave a situation when allow a person to leave without saying I love you. You can be angry about something, you can be mad or whatever you got going on with your family, loved one. But at the end of the day, you can still say I love you. I don't like the situation. I'm still mad or whatever case we want to say. But always make sure you tell that loved one that you actually love them and spend that time and try to squash whatever that is quick as possible, because you may not ever get a chance again. So I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much again for coming in. I had a rough time this morning. I'm feeling a little better, a little more motivated. I have some things I've been working on today, little time that I did, and I have some things going forward because I'm really excited about getting this information next week. That's coming from everything that's electronics, all electronics in Daniel's that was found on the scene, all electronics in his household, and to get answers back, whatever it is. It may not be nothing there, I don't know, but whatever it is, I get the answers back from that. That's something exciting that's happening, as well as being out in the desert this month with some forensic scientists, as well as some other people, select people that would be out there doing some things that need to be done in efforts also to do some recon areas of some areas where hopefully I would have some more public searches. So things are still folding and things are still going in the background. It may seem slower to the public because the public's not privy to see every movement that I make. But the things is things are going forward. I'm happy about that, and I'm going to find Daniel one way or the other. We're going to find Daniel. That's going to be no nonstop. Alyssa, I think her name is, this morning. I just want to say, just like for all of you guys who have been supporting, we're not giving up. We're not going to give up on what's on Daniel. Not period. Not giving up on Daniel. Not on my watch. It's not going to happen. So I just want to say that, you guys, thank you for being here. And also just want to keep pushing it out. Nissa, like I said this morning a couple times, that, definitely we're going to keep fighting and just not nonstop. So I'm going to keep fighting, and I need you guys, and you guys have been backing me up. Of course, to go back to the story, of course, the story is that Daniel supposedly had been going to the second well site. He had assignments of 2 on June 23rd, and on that date is the date that he went missing. He was on the way, or supposedly been going to that well site. According to the guy who's waiting on him, his name is Ken. He works for a company called Matrix. He said that Daniel met him at the gate. I'm going by the way he told me, and also Officer Cruz is the first officer who reported to me what the guy said, as well as what ended up being the report, being exactly what Officer Cruz wrote. Some of the things that he told me exactly, and also when I first got back, the first thing I did is went out to get us set up to on the way. I was setting this up on the way to Arizona. When I made it on ground, I had that set up to speak with Ken, and I went up to Sun Valley Parkway to have a conversation with him and to hear him say all the things that that Officer Cruz told me over the phone. Is exactly what he was saying, and he was right. He was saying that exactly the way Officer Cruz wrote that in the report, that they met it there that well site at 9 o'clock, and around 9:15 he was gone. Daniel was gone. Of course, I wanted to hear the guy say that, but like I said, you guys know that he's been adding a lot more to the story from that point. It started off really well, just like I said, exactly, but then he started adding this extra stuff, saying left of the tracks to, he noticed things going to blow up and become national. Police going to come looking and the thing's going to blow up and go national, things like that. So y'all know that story. But anyway, according to him, they met on Sun Valley Parkway outside outside the gate that leads into that Sonoran Desert. On the side, they had a real quick conversation. Daniel got his vehicle. They had a conversation, got back in the vehicle. Daniel followed him into that desert, Sonoran Desert. They went 1 mile west and 2 miles north to get to this well site. That was around 9 o'clock, he said. And around 9:15, he was gone because they had a conversation about the weather. It's two different things he's saying, a couple of different things. The man said story changes a lot. They said that he was looking at the weather app to see if it was going to rain, and he said it was raining, and those type deals. The rain covered the tracks, that kind of stuff. And I mean, kind of wash away everybody else's tracks, but not his. So it wasn't raining, obviously, after Daniel left, because if it did, then it would wash his tracks away. But then the other story, he said it washed the tracks away everybody because it was constantly raining that day. So it's a whole lot of back and forth about the weather. I did have information that it wasn't even raining. So that type deal. So from some weather report, if you look at it from that area. But the whole point is I'm making you guys a story change, but we had to listen to everything that this guy was saying. And I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this timeline again. I played it a little bit for you guys, and I'll get into the comment section second. But I'll play this one more time that I played earlier, and want to put it on here again. The timeline video.
I didn't understand that.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, this is Ken with River Water Resources. I'm out here at Trillium off of Sun Valley Parkway. I'm waiting on fuel. I think it's going to be a while. He was all the way over at Fort McDowell here at 6 o'clock this morning. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. It's, I don't want you to come all the way out here and just sit and wait. But I was going to give you a heads up when you're about an hour away from being ready to go and stuff. But if you can, just give me a call when you get a chance.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, Steve. Hey, give me a call, please. Thank you.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Hey, Daniel, this is Roger. I know that work is trying to get hold of you, but I'm less concerned about them than I am about you. Can you call back? Let me know what's going on. I need to pick up somewhere, whatever. Just give me a holler. I'll make sure you're okay. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to play that timelines clip one more time. And what it is, you guys, just based on information I had got from Daniel's cell phone, I had to do some independent stuff for myself to get information before the law enforcement have possession of Daniel's phone again for a second time. When I say law enforcement, not Buckeye, Arizona, it's a different law enforcement agency that I was able to get all of Daniel electronics physically forensic. But before that, I was able to get stuff done on the phone and some stuff on my own before that. And the information I had at the time, I hope I get more this time from the law enforcement. That's why I was really happy to get this briefing on next week. And but from now on, like for this moment, I just wanted to go back on that timeline. As you know, at 7:34, that's when Ken had called, right? And did not get an answer. He called Daniel's phone, did not get an answer. Daniel reached out to him first. Of course, it's kind of going back and forth with Steve and some of the other guys that work with Daniel from Matrix. Was trying to make sure that Daniel was able to get the information how to get up to Sun Valley Parkway. Imagine you guys here have never been in this area before, never been to Sun Valley Parkway. I'm seeing this way when I talk to Daniel. He had to get directions to locations all the time. You know, they send him all over Arizona, out there in the middle of nowhere. These well sites like in Sun Valley Parkway. That's the Sonoran areas is the remote area out there. The well site is in the middle of nowhere. That type stuff, right? So, of course, he's getting directions from people who know how to get there or whatever the case may be or whatever place from his company. Like when I asked for the first well site to go visit that one, I went through Matrix New World. What they gave me is a map. I had to figure that out for myself just by the map with the coordinates and make my way to that first well site area. The other part is like 7:34 a.m., like I said, Daniel called Ken back because he did call Daniel. Daniel didn't answer the phone. He missed the call, so Daniel called him back, but he did not get an answer, right? So Daniel called Ken, 7:34 a.m. And then Ken called Daniel, but Daniel didn't answer. So it's kind of like a back forth thing. He called at 8:04, and I know how it wasn't no answer because of the timeline from it wasn't no voicemail or anything like that, or extended, minutes or whatever between those calls. So it was a missed call. It's also on his phone that way. And 8:10, Daniel text Ken for directions. Now here it is, 8:10 in the morning, getting closer to that 9 o'clock hour. 8:10, about 50 more minutes, it'd be 9 o'clock. He was texting for direction. He's actually text and say, "Hey, you need directions how to get to the location." He didn't get a text back, didn't get a response back from Ken at 8:10, and then Daniel ended up calling again. Daniel called Ken again after he didn't receive a response about the text message or didn't get a call, and text message for directions. The way I'm looking at it for directions, that also went without a response. There was no phone call back. There was no text message back or anything, right? So that's when this whole time, like, so 8:13, there was nothing back from Ken, supposedly, right? And the whole point of it, when he called at 8:13, that's the last time he called before the final call. So in between that time, that Ken claimed that he was there at 9 o'clock and made it there somehow at 9 o'clock, and then left at 9:15 because of this thing that he was weird at, strange, whatever the case may be. He wasn't at the strange. He was asking text messages and making these phone calls. You know what I'm saying? He was actually trying to get to work. You know, a person who having issues or has some kind of mental thing or whatever the case, you want to try to make it look like Daniel's being strange, would not be constantly trying to get do the right thing, be responsible like he always have been, and get directions to how to get to a location. Right? That's normal. That's a normal thing you do. You constantly try to give them first a phone call, give them a little time. Because if you look at the time difference, give them a little time for response. They respond. You try again. Give them a little time, response, and you try again. And that's exactly, you see the pattern that was going on. So of course, also the point is at 8:10, Daniel texts Ken for directions for the second well site, and that's how we got the information. But then you guys understand, like I said, at 9:28, Daniel ended up calling again. Now, if Ken said he was going at 9:15, why is he calling at 9:28 and blah blah blah? And it was something there at 9:28. I can't say it was something there because it was, I will not put the amount of seconds that was there, but there's some length of time that was there where if somebody had to respond or something had went down on that way, a voicemail or something. But one of the problems I have is how the Buckeye Police Department, you guys, you can understand how they would quickly, before Daniel's phone even appeared. Daniel's phone wasn't found until that vehicle was found on on July the 19th, with this vehicle behind me in that ravine. But yet, I mean, right. I mean, the first days that Daniel went missing, the Buckeye Police Department quickly put up this young lady's text messages on their report. You don't see anybody else's text messages there, only hers. You don't see Daniel's text messages there to corroborate her story. You don't see anything coming from the cell phone of Ken, from the website to verify that, even nothing about his story to verify his facts. You know, any kind of stuff like that. But you know what? That's the timeline that I have here, you guys. I was working on the timeline. I didn't get to finish it. I was gonna put a partiality up there, but I see that when I swap screen to try to share a screen before I came on the Q&A, it would not work out. You guys probably would see it being so small of a print, you won't be able to read and follow along with me. But I will have that on the next Q&A, as well as I'm trying to do a different video on to add to the YouTube channel, to talk about that timeline and go through the timeline again. Coming up to all the information I'm about to find out about this electronics, the phones, there's 2 cell phones that was found in my searches near this crash site, the same area where we found this human skull, that kind of stuff. So hopefully, if that's those 2 cell phones outside of Daniel's that we don't know is related to Daniel, if it yields something else to help another case, that'd be even perfect too. That is to tell you how my searches out there in the desert, my efforts to find Daniel, have been fruitful. It's been helping other families to come to some closures. Anytime you find human remains, have some form of closure. It wouldn't be a total closure, because I know how the desert, what it does to the human body out there. But at least that family would know exactly the outcome, sadly to say, of their loved one. They have to wonder where they at, wonder what happened, or if they're still alive, that kind of stuff like that. They would have some form of answers to those questions, as to who done it and things like that. I'm praying that God bless that families that was affected, to get those answers, that type of stuff. So, to those deceased individuals. So we also we're able to bring some closure to some of those families. But I just want to put out on the bottom of the screen there, if you have any tips, any information that would lead to bringing Daniel home to me and my family, to get answers to who, or if anybody's involved, um, things like that. Please utilize that cell phone, that tip line number at the bottom of the screen there. 24 hours, 7 days a week, that I pay for. You guys, you can remain anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can just text the word tip to that number. The form will come up, and you still can remain anonymous if you like. Also, you can have if you want to have a conversation with me personally, you can do so through that tip line. Not just have a regular conversation, you guys. This tip line is not for, hey, let's have some conversation. Hey, I think you should go ask this person or look for this or that kind of stuff. I have different avenues for that if you guys want to do that. But for direct information that would bring Daniel home, that not what you're thinking or what you feel or dreamed about or whatever the case may be, I need information that's directly connected and directly know the facts of what happened in this case. So if you want to talk directly to me, you don't want to tell law enforcement, you can do it through the tip line if you don't want me to know who you are and things like that too. So get that information. It's set up that way as well. I won't know who you are. You can have these conversations with me. The other part is, if you do have information and you just or suggestions, ideas, and you think I should go check out, utilize the information on the bottom of the screen. You can contact me 803-200-7994 or email pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. My team on yahoo.com, my team member of myself will respond back to your inquiry. But a cell phone, of course, something I do myself. I've been working over the Thanksgiving break to catch up on those text messages and and voicemails and things like that. So I'm still working on it as we're talking now. So you guys want to leave something, that 200 number, you can as well. Contact me that way. I can't tell you unless you catch me with the phone actually in my hand. If you're calling, I would not probably catch it the phone call right then, because the other phone, my other phone, is what I use primarily with everything is with family and things like that. So, but anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for coming in this Q&A. And I'm going ahead and go into the comment section now and try to get some of these questions. You guys have any questions? I see a lot of questions here. I want to start at the top. I would want to first of all say I want to tell everybody thank you so much for being here. Go individual like I do normally, but since for press of time, I just want to tell you all thank you so much for coming in. I'll try to get some of you I can, but thank you so much for coming in and sharing your time on this Q&A prime time, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You don't have to be doing anything else right now, but I really think so. And if you're new here for the first time, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That will help the algorithms get this channel growing, get me out a lot farther. This channel is not an entertainment thing. It's about Daniel. It's about helping other families as well. I'm still seeking other families. You guys know anybody who have missing loved ones who would like to come on this Q&A can utilize the information as well. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and put your request in, and I would like to have you on this Q&A as well. But I am going to put some on the bottom screen. I did it before. Nobody took up on it. But I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to put it on the bottom on the chats. If anybody want to come on right now, and want to be able to talk or whatever the case may be, ask your question. That's the link I'm just putting in on the comment section. You guys can use that StreamYard link to get in this green room. As I'm talking now, I could bring you on and let you have a conversation or a question or whatever the case may be for this Q&A. But for now, I just want to say thank you guys for being in. Doohickey, thanks so much for constantly being a part of this Q&A, constantly showing your love and your support. I really appreciate you being here this evening, as well as Sophia. Thanks so much for welcoming everybody here to Q&A, being such a great moderator. I know you're working hard on your personal time, things you have to do, and I really thank you for being a team member and really showing your love and constantly looking out for Daniel. Like you said, y'all the aunties, and I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for putting us up as well. You guys want to support the effort that I'm doing. I really appreciate it. So I need all the help I can get in every form. So thank you so much, you guys, for that as well. Thank you, Tracy, for being here this evening, as well as Pacific Breeze for being here this evening. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Thanks, Sophia, for putting more information up. Sophia have a lot of information you're putting there in the chats, you guys. So if y'all guys want to talk to moderators, they're there to help as well. Share and sign the petition. You guys put your voice to that petition. We have 121,679 people who have put their voices there. If you're supporting everything that I'm doing here, believe in this efforts that I'm doing, some things I'm doing to help other families. That's what the petition is for. Is before the push is it help. Just I have the mere having that petition to help me pushing forward with the Buckeye Police Department in the past, as well as getting these forensics done on Dane's electronics. So all the stuff is coming handy. You guys don't know how much just even signing this petition and getting this number up to a certain point helps out with those kind of stuff. So you guys continue to encourage others to sign the petition. Is very important to put their voice there as well. If you guys want to help me out outside of the flyer distribution, you want to help in other kind of ways, there's other ways to help. You can hit that link on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and non-search volunteer sign up. Help in other ways tab, you guys, and go hit that up, fill out that form. That's something that we utilizing as well. Constantly saying we're using it, been saying it for months to go along with the Daniel Robinson Foundation as well. So guys, put your information there. That will help us know your skill sets and things like that as well. If you guys want to help with the flyer distribution and things like that, you can come out tomorrow evening to the ambassador Zoom meeting that I have. You guys go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You'll see on the front page the time, and you'll see the Zoom link there. Or you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com like Sophia have here and hit that PDF button. That PDF button would take you straight to the PDF of how to make those flyers yourself if you want to make them yourself. If you want to have us send them to you, just hit us up at pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com and request those flyers, and we have some flyers sent out to you. So there's a lot of ways you can help with those flyers as well. Again, Sophia, thanks so much for putting so much out. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help the algorithms get things going. Keep Daniel's story out, leave father. You guys got this channel out 2.13 thousand subscribers. That's a lot. That's a lot, you guys. I remember I only had like 20 some subscribers. You guys got this channel out so far. You guys have been signing your love to this channel. We have people doing a whole lot of super chats like Anissa every chance you get, putting out super chats every time. I really appreciate that. That's helping, and I really appreciate it. I smile every time, Vanessa. Every Q&A, you've been putting these super chats up, and I really appreciate that. Your donations and your help towards everything I'm doing. It's really been a blessing. It's really constantly been a blessing. I really appreciate you and your husband as well. So, like I said, you guys, that's what the 2.13 thousand subscribers, what it does. It reach out to people. It help with resources and everything else, get Daniel's story out there far as I can get it. My job is to get those flyers out. My job is to keep Daniel's story alive, not to let it become a cold case. This is not a cold case. We have so much stuff. I have so much. We have forensics being done. I have forensics that still need to be done on the vehicle. So this is not a cold case. We have so many things that's still to go on, some more leads to go on outside of what Buckeye Police Department say there's no more leads to follow. There's plenty of leads to follow. I get leads every day. Not every day, but almost every day from the tip line, where people will say, hey, they have sighting or something they have to go check out. So I have to follow leads and stuff like that. It ain't just been on Q&A. You have to go out and check leads too. I haven't had some that had to actually literally go into another state recently, but there have been some leads that have been coming in from people who think they may have seen things, seen someone that looked like Daniel, or the case may be. So those things are being follow up on. All right. And thank you, Anissa, for this again. God bless you. God, with all my heart and the depths of my within my soul, I am asking you to take us to Daniel, or bring Daniel to us, guide us. We are here. We will not give up. Amen. And that's the truth. That's true. And I thank you for that prayer. Anissa, yes, you're right. With everything, say I had to get on my knees too as well. I pray and I ask God all the time. There's a time and place for everything. I know in the right time and place, he'll put my hands right on the answers that I need. He'll put me in the right place at the right time. I think I mentioned that this morning. Things work on God's time. It happens in ways you guys wouldn't imagine. You know what I'm saying? Had I found Daniel already, I'm praying. That's what I want. Of course, that's my family want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it trying to say this in the right way, context, but sometimes things happen in the context that it had to happen for me to have the Daniel Robinson Foundation, for me to be able to help other families as well in this journey. So just like I said on News Nation, sometimes there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Something, a situation, a tragedy that happened to me and my family, can help other families as well in the journey. Just because I'm looking for Daniel don't mean I'm not wanting to help other people as well along this journey. So other people get some benefit from that as well. And I want to be able to do that. And like you said, from depth our soul and our heart, we're not giving up. And we're asking God to bless us and guide us to where Daniel is, and we will find those information. Thank you, Anissa, again, so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you every time. Every time, I really appreciate that. And let's see who else I got here. Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn, for being here. I see you. I was thinking about you today. I wanted to give you a call. And that's amazing that you were here this evening to see your name there. It's amazing. Must call each other up in our minds, But thank you so much for being here. I hope you had enjoyed yourself and your trip and your travels. But thank you so much for all the hard work you've been doing in the desert. Been out there in that desert in that sun, 118-degree weather. You've been out there. So thank you for serving this country, being a fellow soldier at arms, one of my battle buddies, and also family. I really appreciate you for being here this evening, Carolyn. Thanks so much for showing your love as well, and always constantly and getting those flyers out, and also with the car magnets that you got in your car. So I really appreciate everything you do, Carolyn. That your labor of love do not go unnoticed. I really appreciate that as well. And thank you also, Dana, for coming out. And thank you for your prayers. Thanks for coming out here on the Facebook side of things. I really appreciate you. And let's see who else I got here. Lois. Thank you, Lois, so much for being here. This evening out of North Carolina, not too far from my hometown. We next stayed over from South Carolina. And I really appreciate you for being here as well. Oh, and thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I see it here. Thank you so much. There we go. I thank you so much for the super chat as well. You and Anissa this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you so much for your love. So, you constantly getting those flyers out that you have, and as well being supportive, and also doing the moderating and helping with this YouTube channel. So I really appreciate you a lot, Lois. Thank you so much. God bless you. And thank you, Storm, for being here as well on this Q&A coming off the YouTube side of things. Also, Meb, I really appreciate that. And we will. I want to say this real quick. We will get those answers soon. Thank you for that prayer, those answers, Storm. I really appreciate it. And, but we'll have those answers. So thanks so much. And it's like Sophia said, I really appreciate that. All right. And let's see who else got. Pacific Breeze. Thank you so much for being here as well. Dane did just vanish. That's, of course, that's true. Someone knows what happened. If you know something, say something. And that's what the tip line is for. Like I said, the person who knows something, you guys, you got to understand this as well. I would not doubt if a person who know what happened with my son did not come they helped me out there in the desert searches, because usually that's what they do. People who have involvement, they come out to desert searches. They may be on the Q&As. They may, all that kind of stuff, right? And just not saying anything, reluctant to say anything, or whatever the case may be. I always say, show your humanity, show something. You're a human. We're not animals. We're not, aliens or something. We're humans, and you got to have some kind of humanity in you somewhere deep down inside somewhere, and rely on that to say something. Say something that say something that will bring, because I'm a person looking. Of course, I'm investigating. I can't speak for the police department. I can speak for myself. They have a whole department. I have one person, me. And you best believe you give me something that I can go on to, and you don't want to tell the whole thing, but that's enough tea leaves to give me some leeway. I will utilize that leeway, and I will get to the bottom of those answers. I'll be going forward to get those answers myself. Sometimes people in the community where I come from, in the hood, I come from the projects in the hood. In my days, they say if you snitch, you get stitches, right? And I believe in snitches. That's what, if you do the crime, you should do the time, right? Live up to what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, I believe in that. And you can say, people can say what they want to say, but if a person don't want to deal with whatever they've done, they shouldn't do it in the first place, right? The avenue is there for a person to utilize that tip. And that's why it's anonymous. Person don't have to say who they are, don't have to give out the information who they are. I have some people who give a tip and would say things like, for instance, they're afraid of something, they may get caught telling or something, or the case may be. That's what tip line is for. That's what the anonymous tip line is for. If you don't feel like it's even though it say anonymous, and you don't feel like in yourself, you don't feel like anonymous to you, that's what this for. The tip line is brilliant. You could, like I said, you could just text the word tip to the number. You could go buy a burner phone. Burner phones don't cost much at all. If you need the money, I'll send it to you for the burner phone. And but the burner phones don't cost much at all. And be able to just to send a text message of what information that what I'm saying? Just text the word tip to that number and fill out that form, and then still say, I want to be anonymous with the burner phone that's not traceable to you. So the whole point is, I'm saying, is all the kind of avenues you want to be able to give out the information and bring some closure to help a family get the answers they're looking for. My family, we've been looking, his Daniel mother, his siblings, myself, we're looking for those answers from day one. Want to know what Daniel is. We want to know what's happening, why, whatever the case may be. And so that's what the tip line is for, at the bottom of the screen. And asking you guys to please utilize that. If you're listening and you know that you know something, somebody knows something. Somebody knows something, right? Just like Pacific Breeze say here. Somebody knows something, they're not saying it. And they should be able to say it. So that's what tip lines been created for you to be able to say what you have to say and get it off your chest. Get off your chest. You can feel free in life. You're not hovering something. Don't wait till you got one foot in the grave and on the other one on a banana peel to say something. Don't put a person through so much pain and just holding back information that can help. I'm grateful, despite of the way it's done. I'm really reluctant that it had to be found. Remains had to be found in that desert, but I'm grateful at the same time that they were found. That their family has some form of closure. We haven't been out there in that desert looking for Daniel. The Buckeye Police Department, like I said, wouldn't have found none of that stuff. They wouldn't have found that human skull. They didn't have found a elephant, a pink elephant, or construction cone out there since they've been claiming they've been searching for Daniel. Those 3 or 4 times they went out there in the desert with the helicopter or whatever they claimed they had, right? They ain't found nothing. They probably ain't found a grain of dirt. But the thing is, we have in my searches, been finding things that bring people, some families, closures. Bringing some answers to some other cases that may have been going on, should have been going on, that type stuff. So definitely know something, please say something. All right, thank you, Julia, as well, for being here. Thank you for your prayers for the family as well. I appreciate it. Are there pictures or anything on his phone record? And I won't be able to give that kind of stuff out, but yes, I have all the stuff that pretty much I could get from the cell phone when I had to go get the process myself, versus whatever the police department come up with, the new other agency. Then I'll find out some information about that next week. So hopefully I'll be able to get some real information from that. All right, and let's see here. Emily, thanks so much, Emily, for being here as well from YouTube side. Thank you also, Cheryl. Thank you from South Carolina. I really appreciate that, Cheryl, from my home state. I don't know what part of South Carolina you're at, but my home state, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Terry Decker, for your prayers as well. Thea, thank you so much for being here. Good evening. I really appreciate you. Good evening to you, and love for your family as well as always. And I really thank you, Athena. Thank you so much, and love to you as well. And God bless you and your family, everybody you love. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Lola, thank you from the YouTube side of things as well. PM channel again. Thank you. You guys have any questions? Of course, you guys, please put the word question there before your question, a capital letter Q or a question mark or something like that. That will help me as I'm coming down the comment section to see your question. And I will be able to answer those questions because I might try to skip down a little bit. And if I miss anything you said, sorry, you guys. I want to try to save some time for those questions. Athena, thank you so much for those super chats. Like I said, you guys are incredible. You guys have been, supportive, showing your love constantly. Not just you guys haven't been showing your love just only because y'all show love in all kind of ways. Whether it's flyer distribution, whether supporting this channel, whether it's doing things like this, a super chats, whether give me some comments, keep my morale going, to keep me boosted and motivated, to you name it. Sharing Daniel's story. You guys have been doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it as you guys are doing that. And thank you, Athena, for showing your love and constantly being here, because I know you've been here supporting this YouTube channel. Your name is in that 2.13 thousand subscribers. And I really appreciate you for take your time to even put a super chat up as well as being here on this Q&A. So I really appreciate it. God bless you as well. Thank you so much for your love and support. And thank you, Pacific Breeze, again, for being here this evening. And you guys, don't forget, if you have any questions, Pacific Breeze as well, put the word question there before your question mark, or capital letter Q, because if I don't end up seeing it, that'll probably be hard for me to catch some of these questions. But thank you for the question. Daniel did not have any pattern of abruptly leaving work. That is huge to me. Then the Jeep being, okay, I thought it was a question. Then the Jeep being located nearly 30 days later, the fact makes it obvious to declare the case criminal, in my opinion. And Pacific Breeze, that's a lot of things that would stick out as a red thumb. Like I said, you put the scenario of this, and I keep saying, if there was a police car in the same exact situation, the Buckeye Police Department look at it. It was one of the officers, and that Buckeye police cruiser was lying on the ground like that, and a uniform on the ground, gun badge, all that, and everything, his personal effects, right? And he naked, his uniform, just took a strip. They wouldn't tell the family the same thing they're telling me about Daniel, and they won't be. Chief Hall wouldn't be on CNN and say you can't make no evidence and this and that or whatever case he come up with, excuses, in my opinion. You guys, you can't. It's already anybody can look at it. A lay person look at this, not even being a investigator, and look at this don't make sense. Just the sheer fact, I'm put out a little piece of facts, right? Just a sheer fact of common sense. Anybody have a little common sense in their brain, just a little bit. Well, all of us have common sense. And, they saying this vehicle was cranked over 46 times after the initial crash, right? And Buckeye says only one crash. They saying this is the crash. There's always been there for 30 days. They missed this, right? They claim they did a Phoenix Firebird. They put Phoenix into this. Phoenix Police Department, they on the ground search and the air. The first search, almost 3 days after Daniel went missing. The first search. Almost 3 days after he went missing. Not on the day he went missing looking for him. Almost 3 days after. On that search, on the spot, looking on the ground, on the spot and in the air. And they said they didn't find no vehicle, right? The second time, 2 weeks after that, Civil Air Patrol, right in the same area, on the ground and in the air, no vehicle there. We didn't see the vehicle, but now at the same time, in the same breath, they want you to believe the vehicle was there for 30 days, right? Or it was there for 30 days. But it was there for 30 days, the time that Daniel had been missing. Who cranked the car 46 times? So you thinking that Daniel gonna be in the seatbelt or out of the seatbelt, sitting in the driver's seat, or what, he using his hands, trying to hold the brakes down and trying to crank the car up while it's sitting on the side? I mean, who's gonna do that 46 times, right? You got to use common sense and things like that. That vehicle was not there. It was not there for 30 days. It was somewhere else. And it was brought there, just like my investigator found, with all the physical evidence that he gave to Buckeye Police Department, who rejected those physical evidence. They rejected so much, they spent money they never spent on my son's to go out there in that desert to search for him. I had to start my own search and then beg you guys for money. Let me tell you, the most humbling and embarrassing thing for me in my life is to ask people for money, to donate money to help start searches and do things I'm doing, right? That was the hardest thing, but that's law enforcement job. So I had to go start my own searches, something they wasn't doing. And you see the outcome. You see the outcome. So I can get mad. I'll try not to get mad about the stuff, you guys, because I always end up getting mad and I go off on a tangent. But the thing is, that is big. That's a big, huge thing, Pacific Breeze. He would not. One thing about Daniel, in my opinion, as a father, is it wouldn't make sense to me to see that he went to not only one job site, but two. And if he didn't want to be there at this job site and just want to abruptly disappear, he wouldn't have went to either one of those well sites. He wouldn't have went to the first one, and damn sure he wouldn't have tried to go to the second one. The other part is he wouldn't be so adamant of trying to find a location how to get there. The man kept calling. He texted, call again. Nobody else. He's trying to get to the work, trying to get to work, trying to be responsible, right? Trying, according to his phone record. So the whole point is, I'm saying, you guys, everything they want you to believe, it doesn't make sense. The whole narrative of this woman and this thing that make him like he's some type of want to be a stalker or something out of it. It's ludicrous. It's a sidetrack and it's something to try to criminate or try to make him a victim, make him non-victim, make the woman a victim or whoever else a victim instead of the real victim. What's happening right here is my son. He's missing. He's the only person in this whole scenario that is missing, right? Only one, period. And I have never ever put race into this thing, but so much. But some of those factors you have to look at it too. He's on a black male out there in the middle of the desert by himself. In the area I know about Buckeye. I've been there, I've seen it firsthand. There's some very good people out there that came out to the searches that helped as well. I'm not talking about you guys. I know how you are when you came out to support, came out to help. But there's a lot of bad ones out there too, and you guys know that live out there. I was called an N-word in the middle of broad daylight in the street with a truck full of a pickup truck full of white guys, myself and a black law enforcement officer as well as a friend. All right, all those black on the ground trying to do some work, trying to look for Daniel for nothing, no reason. We didn't say anything about it. We just on the ground on the corner looking at the dirt, trying to get clues. And they ride around and yell those things out to me. And the great part is my daughter just happened to sit in the car at the time, right seconds before they came around that corner. So she didn't get to hear that. Thank God she did, because she had never had to experience that. Somebody directly, loud, openly say those racist things to her. I'm used to that. I'm used to that from the era that I came from. So the point is, I'm saying, you guys, it's out there. Those elements are out there. Some of the things I have to consider as well. But I just don't make that a chief thing I talk about when it comes to my son's disappearance. But it's there. That element is there. It's always there in part of my investigation as well. So I never just throw that out the window. This is part of reality of the United States is here, and those are things that I have to look out for. When it comes to especially those areas out there in the desert, that part of Buckeye, and so on and so on. All right. So here we go. Also, a question. Thank you, Nissa, for your question. I really appreciate it so much, and thank you for putting question marks up there. And thank you again for the super chat. What was the reasoning for not going to see where he was? I mean, if you can leave messages, you can get in your car and go look. You know, one thing is it stunned me too when I listened to this guy's story. He said that Daniel, he thought he was strange. He thought it was so strange. He's saying that he called the job and said, "Hey, tell him what all happened when Daniel took off." Right? That he said he did that. Right? I called and said what all happened when he left. He just pulled off. And if you was that concerned and you called that job, when you had called his phone to, you know, the dude just took off, and the first thing you saying, wow, he just drove off now. What's going on here? He all right? I would get on his phone. I said, dude gave me this phone number. I got his phone number, which he wasn't answering. I told you guys, he didn't get no response back from him. I would have got on my phone, tried to call him. He called one time before, left a voicemail. I would have called again and said, hey man, you all right? Why you taking off or something? Where you going? Whatever. If he called a job and said, hey, look, man, your worker left and just took off, whatever case he may want to say. And he probably still, I still would have been calling him to check on him all day. So you waited all day till 3:00. He waited the close like 3 something to make that call. Why at 3:00? What was significant about that time to finally say, oh, I'll just go ahead and, you claiming you were sitting at a well site. And I'm gonna tell you guys, when they're at that well site, my son has talked to me of many of those well sites out there in Buckeye. I talked to Daniel sometimes for hours on the phone. Sometimes it'd be longer than 2 hours. We'll be on the phone and he's out there at night. I said, where you at? Oh, he had a hotel. Dan told me at the hotel. He had to stay at a hotel because he had to do a job. Sometimes he out there at night, in his well sites. So and what they do, they the driller guy, they all just sit there. They don't actually be physically doing some work, So they're sitting there. You got time on your hands. You're sitting there at the well site measuring those water levels and things like that, right? And so what I'm saying is I could not see this guy. He was like actually doing some physical work at the well site where he couldn't stop and say, oh, I got to make a phone call to check on this guy. No, it don't work. He wasn't doing anything like that. So the whole point I'm saying is he waited to always 3 something to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna call. Is that something to say so he could put on the phone record to say, oh, I showed some concern at 3 something, a whole day, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6 hours later or so. So I really don't get that. But anyway, so that's I think about that too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, leave something or would have been so you claim you called a job, you could have called his cell phone too. You knew the number. Also, again, Buck, I need to vet the story. It's been over a year. Let me see some phone. Let me see his text message. Let me see his response back and forth with Daniel. Let's see his phone record. There's no investigation. You can say the word investigation for the public, but you can't have it both ways. They're saying two things. The Buckeye Police Department is really trying to play slick with you guys, not with me, because I'm not gonna let them get away with that. But you're saying investigation, using the word thrown around investigation after the fact, after the public has been getting their behind, and I've been getting on their behind as well. Now they floating around investigation without any evidence they got rid of, without going into vet these stories, without getting these phone records and doing this. That's what you investigate. How you investigating? Investigating is not just a word; it's an action word, right? It's an action. It's something that I've been doing for over a year. One man, limited resources, money I'm trying to do to spread out to take care of everything, fly distribution to being in Arizona to all this kind of stuff, you guys. And here these got a department who have money, tax money, that's supposed to be taking care of those things themselves, not using a dime. They're saying the word investigating. They're sending, yeah, we went to go talk to this person. We came to do. I can do that from right here sitting in front of this computer, you guys. If you want to talk to people, you can make 100 phone calls a day. Talking to people, that ain't no money, put no money to nothing, no work. We don't pay for phone bills like we did back in the day. You better get off my phone, you're running up my minutes or something. It don't work that way anymore. So you're not spending money, you're not spending time. You just, you're not doing no real efforts unless you're out there investigating. You got to be out there investigating. You best believe, boy, if I had my license or some kind of way to interrogate, I would interrogate the hell out of that guy at that well site. I would be all through his cell phone and finding out information and what really happened. I'll look at his cell phone ping records and go get a warrant. Do whatever I can to write the warrant in a way that a judge would take that warrant and I mean they could do anything. They would take a write up whatever they do for that law enforcement officer. That was a police crew. That was a Buckeye police cruiser lying on the ground on the side like that. Oh, they should make sure they get the warrant or whatever they need to go in anybody's house, to try to find out information. Or information to get. Also, thank you, Pacific Breeze, for your question. Did Daniel and Ken actually speak over the phone that day? I cannot tell. The reason I say I cannot tell, I do know the first initial call that he did, no, he left a voicemail. The call that Daniel gave back, no, because there was no voicemail out there, was no time length. And that, so on, so on. The text message wasn't follow up. And then the 928, only time I seen a little something that could indicate some time is that 928. Everything else didn't have any time. So it was no response on any of that stuff until 928. One, I did see a length. I don't know if Daniel left a short voicemail to this guy, or he picked the phone up and talked to him or not. Because on the phone, on the record, they don't say if it's a missed call. Then Daniel, he missed Daniel's call or not. But it has shown some length of a time that don't want to put out to the public, but a length of time that was on there that was indicate to me there's something out of said, or somebody was on the line, or there's a voicemail or something like that. So you can take it any kind of way. Daniel may have left a voicemail to him. I don't know, or he answered the phone. I would not know that part unless we saw Ken's phone at that 928. So that's the only thing I can say on that point. But actually, them speaking on the phone, no, there's no indication that they actually did outside of that. And let's see here. Let's see. I have Country Girl. Thanks so much, Country Girl, for your question. Has any of Daniel's friends reached out to you or any of your family in the past 6 months or so? Maybe some of the ones he spoke prior to going missing. I could say direct family, of course. My family on my side, of course, constantly. They kind of. I smile because they kind of sometimes they can get overbearing. Hey, Dave, you should have answers by now. What's going on? So some people, everybody don't know the kind of pressures you get, especially when I first started this thing. The pressures you get from family, constantly calling every day, all day, trying to get answers, and they're getting uptight and upset because then they got their coworkers getting into it, and hey, what they found out about him? They found him yet? That kind of stuff and pressure that come from that. That slowed down, but that's mostly on my side of the family. Daniel's side of the family, no, I don't hear anything from any of them except for I heard, of course, Daniel's mother, direct his siblings, but anybody else outside of that on Daniel's side, mother's side, no families don't talk to them at all. I don't see any kind of movement or reactions to Daniel being missing. I don't know. I can't say. I can speak for his mother. She might get all of that from that side. I don't know. But I haven't from that side. But I know my family, my mother, of course, Daniel's grandmother, his aunties and family, even his granddad. So on my side, everybody on my side will reach out and try some kind of way to um, get answers from me. Now, directly, I can't say. You guys probably that's all you see is my face. I'm a father. I don't speak for other people. I love my family. I don't speak for them, their actions or whatever they feel like they need to do or don't want to do or whatever case or can't do or can do. All I can say is as a father, my job is to look for Daniel. And if that means doing it by myself, that's what I do. And I've been here from day one doing that in Arizona to even though I'm in South Carolina. I'm doing that from day one. Saying searching for Daniel, trying to do my best and to find my son. That's all that Daniel need me and I need him. He needs his dad to look out. He needs somebody to look for him and make sure that it's happening. And that's what I'm doing. So as in the family, reaching out and things like that, Country Girl, the last 6 months, I would say no, not on Daniel's side, the mother side of the family. My side of the family, yes. Maybe some of the ones he has spoke to are going, and I really don't know. I really don't know what they have heard from him days coming. I do know he spoke to his mother. So I don't know things like direct with let's say first of kin, I guess you call it. his mother. Of course, I know she spoke with Daniel. Same frame I did 2 days before prior. And, had conversations with him. I know his siblings constantly have conversation with him. But outside of that, on that side over there, no, I don't know he spoke to any of those people on that side. He definitely didn't speak to any of my other family members on my side either, that I know of, because none of them expressed that to me outside of myself, saying on my side of the family. So, of course, but I know they love Daniel, and I know everybody's hurting and things like that, especially with this going through this whole Thanksgiving thing this time here, people expressing themselves that way. All right, so I have a question here from Tracy. Thanks so much, Tracy, for coming to YouTube side. What was the fuel truck for? And I really want to know too. I don't know what the fuel truck is for, other than, okay, well, I only can assume it'd be for the equipment that he used for pumping that water machine that goes in there, be pumping that water out of those wells that they use. And so I think that's probably for the machine, I guess. That's the only thing I can say. I know it ain't for their vehicle and things like that. So they do have some type of machine. Sometimes I talk to Daniel when he's around these well sites. I hear the noise. He say, "Hey, this machine running." I can hear that background noise. So they use some type of equipment, some kind of machinery to do the job. So I'm assuming that's what it's for. All right, and let's see here, and any more questions, you guys? If you guys have any questions, please, by all means, use the word question first before your question marks, things like that. Thank you again, Nissa, for your question. I really appreciate it. I rewatched Ken's interview on Disappeared. And my question is, have you had a body language expert review his segment? I have not, but me personally, I kind of tried to read body language somewhat, and I didn't like his body language either. In that, of course, I try not to make opinions about that, because I can be biased about that, because I am suspicious of this guy. So of course, I would be looking at. But one thing I'd look at the most was his story change for me. Just hearing the way, and I'm glad he did interviews. I'm glad he did interviews, because later on I can always look at those things because he changes his story. He changed his story. He adds some. Start off with, hey, he was talking strange. I looked in his eyes and all kind of stuff. This guy said he was looking at my son's eyes like he's a doctor. My son had black eyes. Well, not black eyes. He had dark brown eyes. I don't think there's no such thing as black eyes, but dark brown eyes appear to be black, right? He's a black male, and it's daylight. And you go to doctor. We go to doctor anytime. I'm sure that's for anybody. They're gonna put a light in your eye to look at your pupils, right? You're not gonna see a black man pupils, especially whether they're dilated or not, in broad daylight, without a flashlight, or looking, whatever the case may be. Looking at that, Daniel's not gonna be sitting there for some man looking up in his eye. He might get punched in his eye, but he won't be sitting there grabbing my son in the eye, looking at his eye or something to see if it's dilated, right? That's not his job. Why was Spider even mention that? Oh, I want to go look in his eyes. That's one thing he said as well. But that's what he said initially. But then on the disappeared and things like that, these episode he did or whatever, then he's coming with this thing now. He was spinning around in a circle. I'm like, where'd that come from? This is something new. Now he said my son was spinning around in a circle. Spinning around in a circle. What that supposed to mean? You really trying to make it dramatic now, huh? Trying to add some dramaticity to it. So that type stuff. So I look at that, and the story changed from 9 o'clock to when it found out that 9 o'clock is not right. Oh, it moved to 9:30 now. You tell the officer, oh yeah, the second officer, oh yeah, it's a 9:30 was at the well site. Not 9 o'clock no more, 9:30. You know, 1 minute 9 o'clock, but we go with initial things. They always say a lot of times when you tell a story about what you remember exactly, you always go by that first time, because that's when it's fresh in your mind. You know exactly the time and blah 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 and so on so on, right? So then that's what he said initially, and that's what we're sticking with. That's exactly what the story he gave, and that's what you go by. I could not see the Buckeye Police Department basing their investigation or anybody based on what this guy said outside of the 9 o'clock thing, because you go about what this person said at the beginning. Go by what they said. Don't try to fix the story like this guy did, who said he was a person that seen Daniel out there in the desert with his kids and shooting a rifle, whatever the case may be. And he changed his story from 1 o'clock to 10 once he heard that the first initial crash happened at 1 o'clock, around 1 o'clock, that kind of stuff. So, you change the story, that means that you up to something. All right, here you go. Small town PI. Thanks so much for your question. Thank you for your super chat. I apologize. Thank you so much, small town, for your super chat. I really appreciate that. God bless you too. You constantly coming in. I've seen you before, and I believe I spoke to you for another different reason. But thank you so much, small town PI, for being here. Thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate it, you guys. I mean, just lighten it up. Y'all lighten it up this evening. I really appreciate it so much. Like I said, it's really just a morale boost as well. It's helping with all the efforts that I've been doing here in Arizona. You guys showing me right now, like you're doing small town PI, showing me that, you guys believe in everything I'm doing here in Arizona, trying to find my son. You know what I'm saying? I mean, any father, any mother, anybody who, can understand and relate to, put themselves in my family shoes, in my shoes. You have a missing son, you missing loved one. You're gonna try to do everything you can to find that loved one, and you need help from the public. And you guys have been doing that, and I really appreciate it, small town PI. I really appreciate that for you constantly being here, and as well as showing support to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I know you've been here. I see your name there all the time, so I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much. And let's see who else I got here. Barry, thanks so much for being here as well. A moderator and being part of the team. And thanks so much. God bless you. And also being a board member. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here and supporting. And I love you. Thank you so much. Thea, thanks so much for you being here as well. And I really appreciate it. And I agree with something that's off on his storyline. The extensive re-interview and re-investigation is required. I am a retired attorney, and it doesn't pass the smell test for me. And it doesn't. Like I said, you have a more of a insight on and stuff with dealing with the law than I do. Of course, you have a lot of it. You're retired attorney, and if like I said, a person like me, a layperson, can look at certain things and things that was done and the way it was done and said and this and that. It doesn't make sense. It almost will give you the impression that somebody's covering up something. And I hate to be trying to, and I try to avoid that as well. You guys trying to say, hey, this department is covering up something. But you know what? It'll give that appearance and that nasty taste and smell of where you want to say that bad smell test that would say that something's being covered up, and for what reasons? Because outside of you guys, you got an investigator. My investigator, I was mentioning earlier, and I didn't get to complete that. And my investigator got all the physical evidence, and he doesn't have so much trust in the Buckeye Police Department himself. He's a retired police officer, and he, just like you said there, Athena, he said this don't pass the smell test for him as well. Something is not right. Something is off. Why the department is acting this way? This man was kept constantly, when I hired him on, he kept constantly apologizing to me for law enforcement. Not only him, I had some from North Carolina, some from New York police officers, from all over the country. Been calling me, and they always do the same thing. They apologize for Buckeye. They say this is not policing. You're getting a bad taste in your mouth about policing because of these people. This was not the way you're supposed to handle policing, right? That's what I get from other police departments all across this country. And one of the things, like I said, my investigator found hard evidence, physical evidence that suggests foul play, that suggests staging of this vehicle and everything else. All the physical, tangible evidence, right? Tangible stuff, not some stuff going by. There are theories that my son had a brain injury, shredded his claw off, and went somewhere and hid in a tree and succumbed to his injury, or animal got him something, and then also say that maybe he just left his family to join a monastery, become a monk. That's ridiculous, ludicrous stuff, and really hurtful and shameful stuff to even say to a family. But this is the kind of stuff I'm saying. My investigator found hard physical evidence of foul play for the scene. Just looking at the scene, first of all, but foul play. Pressures on the windshield is beat with something. That's where two impressions come from. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Instead of the Buckeye Police, and he was reluctant to, me and him sat down extensively to talk about it, but we need law enforcement. He's a PI. A PI just as private as much as we are as Sue. That's why I could be my own PI as well. But the thing is, he's limited. Being a PI, you're just limited, right? And so we need law enforcement. He was reluctant to do it. He wanted to go straight to the FBI with it. He couldn't do that to get around Buckeye. So we reluctantly gave it to Buckeye, and we did that. All hell broke loose. I used to talk to Buckeye almost every day, every other day, whatever case may be. As soon as we gave them the information, no jokers took that information and shut down, would not speak to me anymore, then speak to my family. And then that's where the relationship fell apart with the Buckeye Police Department. And then not only that, they started them helping take that money that I was saying earlier, you guys, and put into the searches. I've been desperately asking you guys and begging get people for money to help me out the searches, constantly moving that GoFundMe goal up to try to accommodate everything I'm doing. These jokers didn't spend a dime in the searches. Instead, they take the same money they could have been doing when I asked for those specialized drones and been asked for those cadaver dolls to the flights to whatever the case that's going on in that desert searches out there. They took that money and put it into. I know how much I paid my PI, so I know how much they had to at least pay this guy. I don't know how much they paid him, but they had at least pay him the money that I paid him, paid my investigator, and they took that money, put it there, right? And just to rebut what my investigators say, because they want to double down on their stuff. No, we're not going to accept this. We're going to accept our story. He's just a missing person, and this is where I'm taking it, because this is where the storyline goes with them. He's a missing person. He took off. He crashed his vehicle in that ravine 30 days, 30 that day that he went missing. It was sitting there for 30. He took off. When he crashed it, he had a brain injury. He shredded his clothes off, walked off butt naked, died, got killed, something, walked off. But at the same time, here's his things, because he's going to come and they gave me everything. Everything you guys see on the scene, I have it, right? In my possession, except for I just gave electronics away to the law enforcement agency. But the thing is, I have that. They gave me all that stuff, not marked for evidence, not marked for anything else. It's marked for safekeeping. I didn't know what that means. I gave it to my investigator just exactly the way they gave it to me, and he explained it to me. Anytime they give mark something, it had check boxes. They could have checked evidence. There was something else on there in safekeeping. They had the safekeeping check on these evidence bags. That means that we's giving it back to the family. This guy's coming back for his stuff with a brain injury, butt naked, walking around the desert. They saying that he's coming back. That's their theory. He's coming back for his things, right? They don't want to set the fact that my investigator found evidence of the vehicle being staged there. Also, to couple with the evidence of the vehicle being seen 2 days prior to it showing up in that desert on the side of the road, that Buckeye refuting that. Oh, it ain't the same vehicle, because blurry picture, real blurry, because the wheels, the rim don't look like. I look at the same picture and it don't look no different from Daniel's rim on the vehicle here. So I don't know what they're talking about, but they're rebutting that as well. Don't want that to be, but they don't want to tell me at the same time who towed the vehicle away. Because when I found out, when I was on the way up there, they got to it before I did and had it towed away. Somebody did. I ain't say they did, but somebody, ironically, when I called the Buckeye Police Department about it and it started heading away, it took me about 40 minutes to get there. Somebody magically took it away. And the Buckeye Police Department to this day can't tell me who it was. Don't want to tell me, 1 out of 2. And then 2 days later, oh, your son's vehicle found in the desert. You know, that type deal. So it's a whole bunch of stuff I can call out on that. Like I said, it don't pass the test or pass whatever smell test or whatever you would like to call it. It doesn't make sense to me. So thank you, Anissa. Again, thanks so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Please hit and the hashtags. God bless you. Please help find Daniel. Hashtag billboards. Call them out. You guys use these hashtags. Hashtag Daniel Robinson. You guys know on the 20th, closer to the 23rd every month, I do the fast and prayer for Daniel. The hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys can use these hashtags. Put them out there. Really help. Thank you, Nissa, so much. That really helped as well. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy, for being here off the YouTube side as well. And 6 hours is time enough to cover your tracks. It is. I mean, it is very much so. And you guys see what's in the desert. In that well site. I've been misled for months that Daniel was at this well site, and I've been having my volunteers, having the volunteers out in the desert at this well site. Hey, showing people this is where my son was last seen. But then I started doing my investigating and vetting the story, keeping the story straight. When you put the vet, and y'all get all that timeline stuff that was told to me, the stuff I have written down, keeping track of what the guy said. 1 mile west, 2 miles north, to get to this well site. 2 miles north to take it to the well site that have all the stuff down in it. Somebody dumped a bunch of dirt in it. That well site that really need to resume. One of the pipes on the top of the ground missing. Only company that are able to do all of that to get that stuff is Weber, according to Daniel's job, Matrix New World. You don't call nobody else out there in that area to be able to get things in and out of that well, right? And so that's the only company that can do that. And that's the only company I say was at that well site with my son that day. And the FBI need to be looking at it, the police department looking into it, but they reluctant to do it. They refuse to do it. And that's what I'm saying. That to me, it don't pass the test. Like you're saying, that says something else to me that I really reluctant like to say to the public. So, I always look at it that way as well. Thank you so much, Karita, for being here. I really appreciate you being out there with me in the desert as well as this so much that you do, helping my team. I really appreciate my team. You know how my team feel about you as well. We thank you so much for everything you do for us and helping us along the way with the yard signs to the flyers, getting them out, and everything that you do, Karita. I really appreciate it. That goes with a lot of love that you like to give. We give back to you as well. So thanks so much, Karita, for being here and support this Q&A. I really appreciate you. All right, and also Corey, thanks so much for your question on the YouTube side. Based on all the information you have collected, what do you believe happened to Daniel? Also, if this is an investigation, who is the lead detective in his case? Well, if it's an investigation, but I can't tell you who's the lead detective in at Buckeye in Daniel's case. His name is Detective Biffin. So if you guys, Biffin, if you guys want to reach out, that's on you guys for the Buckeye Police Department. As in what happened to Daniel, I have my two ways to that question. For me, I have my faith, and my faith would say to me, foul play, but Daniel's alive, right? Foul play don't mean necessarily somebody killed him. Foul play means somebody did something to him. And when I'm saying somebody did something to him, he's somewhere, could be held hostage or whatever case may be, in a situation that he don't want to be in, and I'm going to find him. That's my faith, to say, hey, my son is still alive, and I have to have that faith that keeps me going. That's what I want to believe as a father, as a man of faith that really love my son, who believe in God, and I know God can shield Daniel. In spite of what he may have to go through, he can shield him, protect him, and allow him to come back home. The other part is I do have information, evidence-wise, my investigative finding, like I said, this right here, notice it's dump, first of all, suggests foul play. Something happened, somebody covering up something. Why? We need to get to the clue of that. Somebody wanted that vehicle to be found in the deserts. Why? Because they want to keep us away from where things really happen. So all of that kind of stuff. So I have all this kind of information. Some of you guys I definitely can't put out in the public that would suggest foul play, right? And I say the meaning of that foul play will come with once I get all the information I can get from forensics and tie in some things that that I was able to collect and the people and the parties who were involved. So that type of stuff from my own investigation. I can't speak for the police department. I don't know what they have. Of course, they don't share a whole lot with me, but they want a lot from me. And I stopped giving them so much because I started realizing I was actually working for that department. I'm not. If I'm doing more work than you're doing, then you're not doing your job. And you have a team. We're supposed to have an office, I'm one person. And so I realized that, so whole point is that's how I feel about that on that question. I try to be really, really true to myself and believe that my son, I'm gonna keep my faith and believe my son alive. I'm gonna bring my son home alive. And that's what I believe. And I want to keep it that way mentally. And but despite everything else that's been found, I definitely love you guys give me these questions. Meb, thanks so much for your question here. And see, did Daniel opt into any car insurance tracking program? There might be some trafficking data that may be helpful. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. His car insurance, I do know who his car insurance company is, but I don't know what type of policy and that kind of stuff. I can tell you there wasn't on the phone that would suggest, because I think I knew what you're saying, like, the safety thing, like they can monitor you if you speeding and what kind of driver you are and stuff like that. But there's some apps and stuff that I've been working with. The irony to that, you guys, all those apps, well, I ain't gonna say all of them, but I'm put it this way. There's one particular app, and a few other things is ironically everything being cut off right there from after the 22nd, 23rd forward, being cut off, right? Meaning being blocked or some kind of way. So that kind of thing. So things just weird when in that fact that would show that somebody's been fumbling around with something as well. When it comes anything that could deal with tracking Daniel. All right. Also, thank Country Girl with a phone memory card missing from the phone. Did you check the Google Drive or cloud to see if Daniel backed up his card to them? And I tried that with his Google stuff and like his Google history to whatever, all that stuff. I'm still trying to get into some things, but hopefully, like I said, this information come back and get some of that stuff. But everything when I was doing it, a lot of things I would say was wiped out. Just everything Google stuff was. I got a lot. I dealt with Google and they gave me some things, but some things I wasn't able to get just yet. But yeah, that's one of the things as well. But it's been wiped. A lot of things been wiped. His geolocations that was stored to whatever, it's been wiped out. So a lot of work been done in those 30 days that Danny been missing. There's been a lot of work in 30 days to in my opinion cover up stuff. Um, and let's see, I have Athena. Thanks so much for you being here. And I do see you have this again. I hear about Heavy D Sparks again. Thanks so much. And on Sparks on YouTube about the well. They have the equipment and it's free. And you say what kind of equipment does Heavy D Sparks? Do we have the equipment to retrieve things? If so, yes, that'll be a very good deal. Very good deal as well. One thing for sure is the last time I was able to get down in that well to do the well inspection / search that I was doing. That's what it was. It was well inspection free for the owner of the well. That was the only way we was able to get that deal for me to have my search into that well to get the cameras down in that well is to get the owners a free inspection. They was really reluctant to let me in that well again. Let me in the well, period. Because we always in the desert searching around the wells and things like that. And the owners was getting really finicky about those wells until we offered the free well inspection, and so that's where we get in. But yeah, that'd be very good if he can offer that as well. Thina, thank you so much. Yes, they are in your geographical area, and Heavy D Sparks. My members of my team is on there again. We're gonna try that again and see if I can get in touch with this Heavy D Sparks and see what he can offer. All right, thanks so much, Athena. And I think I ran out of questions, you guys. I don't see any more. So I really thank you guys for being here on this Q&A. But yeah, I was just going to put in again of let's see here if it's going to show up. Now hoping, praying that I do not mess up when I do this. And you guys, I want to put it up for a second and I want to see if you guys can see it. If you guys can't see it, just let me know in the chat and I'll just work on it because I want to work on this. Is going to be a partial. I'm not even finished with it, but I'm starting just to put a little timeline together, like I said, for the next Q&A. What I want to do is I'm going to share a screen and I'll see if you guys can actually see what I'm putting up. And if you can see it, that'd be good. That'll go along with the second time. Next time I come on the Q&A or with the video and talk about the timeline. I want to get every detail of the timeline so you guys can understand from day one when Daniel went missing, what the police did, what I have been doing, the movements, and put things in the right perspective. I'm not going to let the narrative be written by Buckeye Police Department, police record that they now took offline because so many inconsistencies there, and what the original report versus what they put up, paragraphs being changed and all kind of stuff, and things are not right, and they do have a history of falsifying documents. The police chief in the past got suspended for that. Should have got fired, but one of them guys quit because of the corruption. So the other guys also in that department caught stealing data from people and stuff like that. So I mean, there's all kind of stuff going on in the department. So it's very, in my opinion, corrupt, and it's not worth looking into those reports with them. So I want to make sure I clear that up because a lot of times I get it. Law enforcement, we want to believe everything law enforcement say, and department, just because they're law enforcement, they get a heavy weight of credibility for no reason outside of them being law enforcement. So I want to make sure that what's been said and done is accurate based on where I see it too. So put those comparisons together and you can kind of see what really happened. Here's a question here for Corey. Thanks so much for your question. Putting a capital letter Q ? This occurred during work. Has his company offered assistance or a supplemental investigation into that day? No. They have not done an investigation. They haven't started a search of their own. They haven't put no search party out there in the desert to even look for Daniel. Only thing I can say, hopefully, my aunt did got in their behinds about safety protocols for their workers. Hopefully, they implemented that by now, because workers don't need to be going out there by themselves. Don't need to have to provide their own equipment. They should have some way of tracking their workers and things like that when they're out there. Daniel was on the job when it's happened. So there's a lot of liabilities with that company as well for his safety and everything else. I shouldn't have had to come 2,000 miles travel to take almost 3 days to get here in Arizona, get to Arizona, and they haven't even went out to go look for him outside of his friend from work going to my daughter's house to ask if he's there. So that type deal. But other than that, that should have been money spent on the company's time, their money for their worker. That went missing on their clock, if you want to put it. So yeah, there's no assistance or anything like that. The only assistance I got from that Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater, is the owners did a donation for the GoFundMe. They did they offered in a meeting. The owner offered for spacing for office space for me to run my operations out of when I was doing the desert searches and things like that. Let's see what else they did. They just offered things. And outside of that, I don't know if, like I said, it's a company mandate or something that workers did on their own. But at least about 6 or 7 of them showed up to some searches of mine and become help assistant. Go out and search. I end up turning out to have them to man the gate for volunteers coming in to direct them where to come into the quarry area to park their cars and things like that. So that's on time. That's on thing that came from that Matrix New World. Like I said, it wasn't nothing that would suggest that, for instance, when I had to charter a helicopter to go out there in the desert, that didn't come out their pockets to help from a company standpoint. That should have been able to do that, in my opinion. A lot of people, the police department as well, should have been able to fund that kind of stuff, right? So, all right, so that's yeah, you're right. That is on company time, so they didn't have no investigation of their own, and it should have been their company. They worth millions. Yeah, they have the resources to do that. All right, I'm gonna see if I can share a screen real quick. I hope this don't mess things up. But I want to see if you guys can see it. If you can't see it, let me know. I'm just curious. And if you can see this, put some thumbs up or something, so I can know next time I do the Q&A. I'll go through this timeline, and that way, we can talk about it. So if you guys if you give me some thumbs up or anything like that, let me know you can see this. I really appreciate it. If you can't see it, if it looks really small and you can't really read it, I'll be working on that to make it larger so it can be read. Oh, good. You can see it. You can read it. But this is a timeline. Thank you, PM Channel, for putting that up. I really appreciate it. You say you can read that. I see the thumbs up also from you, Lois. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I know there's a delay in the feed, so when I'm talking about the stuff, it's delayed there. But yes, what I would do is, but the writing is small. Yeah, and that's what I've been worrying about, Emma, is the writing being small and not legible for you guys. So that's the problem, and I will work on that too. But what I want to do is, this is kind of the start of some of the timeline, you guys, that I'm working on to present it to you guys. I have a bit sheet. I have a bit sheet. I have everything on paper, my timeline. I want to put on a bit board and probably do some kind of presentation. Um, um, you know, um, that type deal. But anyway, the thing is, the timeline there from June 12th, when Daniel met the girl Caitlin, spent the night over her house on doing the Instacart, to June 21st, when my son went out to that Waffle House. Well, actually, June 21st. I'm sorry. When me and my son had our last conversation. It's the really deep conversation about things. and as well as he did speak with his mother and his siblings on June 21st or June 22nd. He spoke with his sister in Phoenix, but that's the day that he went to the Waffle House, left his vehicle behind at home. That kind of deal, caught the Uber back. And, so that's June 22nd. And then you got June 23rd here, the day that Daniel went missing. I'll be talking about that. That's the Shell station that he went to go visit. And, allegedly went to visit and things like that. That type stuff. Just kind of go through the details, you guys. You can see it there. Of course, when I put the missing person report in, the time there to reporting to the Tempe Police Department. That's the department I reached out to, you guys. I didn't go to Buckeye first. I went to the Tempe Police Department. They rejected that and sent me to Buckeye once I mentioned the word. I just used the word. I didn't know nothing about Arizona. I just said, hey, where he went missing? I said, well, somebody said they seen him around the White Tank Mountains. So that's the word White Tank Mountain. They spit me back and say, well, you need to go talk to Buckeye Police Department. So they shot it out the Buckeye Police Department. But initially, I also asked them on that day to do just a welfare check. That was one of my things. Hey, before I say missing, I was doing my due diligence. Can you guys go do a welfare check at his apartment? And they didn't do that. They didn't want to do that as well. Then I had the June 26th, you guys, when the first so-called Phoenix Airbird, almost 3 days late. They say almost 3. They say 25th on their report. From what I got here, is June 26th when that they claim that Firebird helicopter actually went out. And I can't tell you guys right up front here that June 26th, when I give y'all this timeline, I go back over this thing. I'm gonna try to make this bigger for you guys to read it better. But what I'm saying is, when we go back over this thing again, let's see if I can make it bigger now. But we can definitely, when I go over it again, you guys can understand that to this date, I even have a congressperson looking into it. I went to the Phoenix Police Department. Their unit that deals with the air control and things like that, fire and rescue and all that. They have no record so far of this ever even happened on June the 26th. So when Buckeye say this, they better hope they are right, because there's no record of that so far. I'm not saying it's not there, but they're not finding it. And it's been 6 months now looking. It's not there so far. I can almost say it's not there, because if after 6 months, it don't take 6 months to find out if this actually really happened. June 26th, they put 25th. I even put in their record 25th or 26th when I went to go put that search in. I paid my money for that report for public record. All right. So June 27th as well, when I went, my daughter and after the day I got here on the 26th, made it to Arizona 26th. On 27th, that's when my daughter and I was doing our due diligence around Arizona, going to the airports, to the parking lots, to you name it, and doing all the inquiry we can, going to the NAACP, to West Valley into the NAACP or whoever, Phoenix NAACP, everywhere. I mean, there's people that I tried to find some kind of avenue, somebody who can help. All right, went to the Red Cross, anybody, some resources. That's my first angle. Went to the Buckeye Police Department to get them all the information. That's the time on the 27th when we met with the Buckeye Police Department together and was able to give them information. It was probably a little after that when we actually had to show them on our phone, but show them a phone of records through our phone. I'm sitting across the table in the interrogation room. These people put us in the interrogation room, and we show them our Daniel's phone records and his bank statement. I even called USAA Bank on speakerphone for them to hear, and they put in their report that they retained phone record. They didn't retain nothing. They didn't ask for no copy of our. They didn't take a picture of the screen on our phone or have a screenshot and send to them or nothing. But they put in a report that they got some phone records. They didn't get no phone records, you guys. They told me they couldn't get one without a warrant. So they had us looking at our phone across the table, so that type deal, and going by what the information we give them or what we tell them. That's how the Buckeye Police Department was operating. And so I was just putting that up, you guys, kind of share with you guys what I'm going to be doing on the next Q&A or on some type of video where I can go through the timeline and really give you some detail of events, and so you can put things in the proper order, the way things happen. So, all right, and let's see, something you had wrote here. Oh yeah, good. I saw this before when I was reading up there. Thank you, Green Light 8, for say weird how they found 2 human remains out there. So criminals are there in those areas. And it's more than 2 human remains, right? Buckeye have been doing this for you guys. I'll tell you like this. We was up to at least about 6 or 7 human remain count, right? Out there in the desert. Found tons of animal remains out there, of course, right? Because animals eat animals in the desert. We kind of didn't know different. They was calling human remains. They was coming to grab those things, supposedly, Buckeye, after we upload those things up through my website, they come back human remains, right? So they're supposed to be coming to collect those things. A lot of times I tell you they don't. But they're supposed to be coming to collect those human bones, they was calling. This Buckeye Police Department, right? They send them to Maricopa County, come back, confirm human remains. We was up to 7 human remains found. Even the skull. They could deny the skull because of the human skull. And my sir, don't get me wrong, you guys don't get confused and feel like the Buckeye Police Department found these human remains. They haven't found anything out in the desert. They haven't found a construction cone, nothing. My searches have been found in human remains out there, right? And like I said, we was up to like 6, 7, or probably 8 human remains out there at the time. But then when the media started getting into this thing, like I told you guys, think about this. The Buckeye Police Department got caught for falsifying documents that's related to crime statistics. They want Buckeye to look so non-crime that they was lying on documents, right? Got caught, right? And this is Buckeye Police Department. So that good and well, once they start saying that Daniel case became national and your guys start knocking on the door, they start downplaying all the human remains that was found out there. They started, oh no, it's only 1 or 2, but they could deny the human skull because the human skull is a human skull. They could deny that one that we found out there, but they tried to start downgrading the searches. It offended me. It offended me a lot because of volunteers out there working hard, trying to locate Daniel. And a lot of these people have to suffer like I do, of seeing other people other people remains out there and finding these things. That's somebody's family on the ground, somebody's family member. It got so bad that the Buckeye Police Department had those things put into Maricopa County's medical examiner's office as they found these items. In my searches now, they haven't been out there searching for Daniel. They have not been out there doing their job, but yet they want to take credit for things I've been doing from day one since I came to Arizona. And they had in the American report that that Buckeye found these remains. It had been brought to my attention by a volunteer who's happened to be looking at those kind of websites. And I called those people and told them, I called Maricopa County, like, this is falsifying documents, you guys. I sent them a letter and called. This is falsifying documents that happened in my searches. The volunteers that are working with me was the one that found these human remains, and y'all need to correct that. And they did. They correct that. They put a contribution back to where it belongs to, and it was the volunteers in my searches. So that's where it goes at. The Buckeye Police hadn't found anything out there. They haven't found the clothing items that we found out there in the pile as well, outside of Daniel's. They haven't even found Daniel's vehicle. The rancher found that. So they haven't found anything, right? They probably can't even find their own shadow. So the thing is, they haven't found anything, but the 2 human remains, that's what it's been downgraded all from, like I said, probably 8 down to people saying 2, because that's what they want to put out in the public, and people going with that. So it's more remains out there than that, you guys. And I'm not gonna let them downplay that, and not the efforts that volunteers have been doing and been working. I still have those some of those remains pictures and things like that. But the thing is, we're not gonna let them downplay the efforts of the volunteers that have been out there helping me locate my son. Because I'm telling you, these people have been out there working hard in that sun, walking that ground. Buckeye Police Department wasn't walking the ground looking for anything. And so definitely no. Don't think it's just 2. First of all, I just want to say there's nothing bad thrown off on you. I'm saying that 2 is far from the truth of how many remains are found out there. But it is a crime area. That's part of the thing that I put into a letter to Chief Hall at the time, asking for the FBI to come into Daniel's case, and just pointing that out. Hey, my son was missing in a crime area, a crime area that is obvious crimes happen. Human skull not too far from where this vehicle was found. That type deal that we found out there in our searches. The cell phones, the clothing, and everything else that was going on at burnt cars. So that type deal. Things been going on in that area, and so we're not gonna, let that slide. let that slide. So yeah, they put that in the public, and like I said, they have a little more bullet pulpit, if you want to call it, than I do. I'm just a father looking for my son, and they're law enforcement. So anytime you wear a badge and you got a gun and you got the word police behind you, people are more likely to want to believe what the police have to say versus the facts and the truth. If they want to put out something just to make themselves look good, then people a lot of times would want to hear that versus what I have to say. But anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for being here. I don't see any more questions, but thanks so much for being here again and showing your love. I want to say everybody who did the super chats as well. Anissa, you guys, I really appreciate it. All of you from the YouTube side who's been just keep constantly showing love. Anissa, Lois, let's see who else I got. I don't want to miss anybody. There was Lissa, Lois, Athena. Let's see who else I got here. I'm coming down this thing. I want to make sure I get each and last one of you again. Small Town PI. Thank you, Nissa, again. And I really thank all of you. Thanks so much for support one way or the other. You guys have been supporting in every way, in every form that you can. And each and every of those forms means a lot. They all equal to me. And I really appreciate it, you guys, for your love and constant love and support. It's not easy. It's just not easy for you as it is for me. In some fashions, to be able to listen to this Q&A and hear some of the same things over and over again and supporting the way you guys have. And I really appreciate you guys actually doing that because I need it. I need it. I wouldn't ask for it if I didn't need it, but I need your constant support. Mentally, it's challenging at most times. And like I said, when you guys do everything you guys have been doing, it definitely helps me keep going. Sometimes somebody mentioned something about family. Sometimes I need my family as well. I would hope, being honest with you, and I'm not going to. I'll just keep that to myself. But some things I would like to say. Sometimes I get lonely. I have a lot of people. I have you guys. I have a team. But some elements are missing. Sometimes you want family by your side. You want certain things by your side. I may not be perfect. Some people like say, man, he messing up on this. Yes, I am messing up on certain things. I'm just a father looking for my son. I'm expected to do so. But I'm doing it, I have my passion and my love, and I'm going to keep going and learning as I go. But definitely, I would like to have certain things, elements there to go along with me on this journey. I don't have them. So like I said, you guys, and that's why I said at the beginning, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. I'm telling you, you can have a ton of people around you and you can still feel lonely sometimes or by yourself. So definitely, sometimes you have to encourage yourself to keep going. Then when I do, like I said, get to hear your comments, your suggestions, your hearts. I see your hearts, the things you have to say about my family, about Daniel especially, your support for me, doing what I'm doing, that keep me going. So thank you so much. I have a question here again from Clumsy. I want to grab this last one. Clumsy, thanks so much. The Buckeye Police Department says it's not suspicious to look into Daniel's disappearance. It's been 16 plus months. Do they still think nothing seemed wrong here? Yes, obviously. They haven't changed the case. They haven't changed the nature of the case. I talked to, like I said, the Buckeye Police Department a few weeks ago, and he was just relaying some message that the lady I was speaking to in my tip line, or lady or person, whoever it is, on my tip line. Last I heard, and they said then they haven't got nothing going. They got nothing going. But I got so much going. I mean, it's weird to hear them say that when I still got things I'm looking into in my son's disappearance. And if I can come up with those things and look into them, why can't they do the same thing after 16 months? After 16 months, this little stuff right here that you see out here behind me in that ravine, if that don't prove nothing to them after 16 months and Daniel still is not present, nothing would, and nothing will. They would not budge, and they would try. One thing I'm telling you guys, and I'm really betting. I've been hearing this thing from a long time, and I'm starting to see it come true. I'm a bug. I'm a bug. I'm a problem for them. Sometimes you come in a new city, got a guy from South Carolina coming to Arizona causing trouble. I remember when I first got to Arizona, I had a law enforcement officer I talked to, eat lunch with, trying to get things moving. And he said, man, your name is out there, all out in the valley. I didn't know what the valley mean. Oh, your name is all out in the valley. People hear you, they know, I hear your name, David Robinson, come up, right? Locally. This is before Daniel's story went nationally. Because I've been out there working hard as I can try to get Daniel's story out there. So they've been hearing little people locally. And this from the police department. And so when you start looking at the whole big picture, they betting on me. I think the way I look at it, resources wise, think about it. I'm from out of state, coming to a town, don't have limited resources. I have to stay. I still have a home. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I have responsibility on my own. Have a home, everything. Leave South Carolina to go search for my son. Right. So resources I need. Resources I'm going to have to get. I'm going to have to go get it somewhere. I was able to ask you guys. You guys have been supporting, but they know it's going to run out eventually. Right. So resources run out. What they hoping for? When he leaves the state, we just need to wait it out. Just wait it out. We ain't got to do nothing. We can pretend to keep putting little things here and there, and like we actually doing something. Wait it out. He gonna have to leave eventually. He's gonna dry up. He's gonna have to get out of here. That's what I fight against as well. I fight against as well because there's nothing else going to change the department. The Buckeye, they're not going to go put this case where it belongs in the criminal element. They'll look into it. That's why I asked you guys. I'm going to the Maricopa County again, telling you guys, and also the Tempe Police Department. The two avenues I have left when it comes locally, outside of the FBI, Justice Department, and all this kind of stuff that I'm still working on as well. But for right now, we already know what Buckeye did to this case. We need somebody who actually have jurisdiction in this case as well. Jurisdiction into my son's disappearance, not into Buckeye's case, into their own case. Their own case. They can open up a case. They ain't got nothing to do with Buckeye. Maricopa County don't have nothing to do with Buckeye. Tempe don't have nothing to do with Buckeye. You know what I'm saying? My son is a resident of Tempe. He's a resident of Tempe, Arizona. And also Maricopa County, it supersedes because Tempe is in Maricopa County. Buckeye is in Maricopa County. That's the sheriff's office. Also the DPS, Department of Public Safety as well. So all of those guys can do something in my son's case. They see the national attention in Daniel's case. They see the public support. They see the public interest into my son's case. They can do these things. They don't want to because it's going to hurt the way blue look. It's all about the blue. They don't care if it's their son. They automatically did it, but it's not their son. It's not their police officer. So only thing they care about if it's their police officer, make them look good to find their own officer, or if I'm making another department look bad because they are bad, in my opinion, then they rather go that way to try to help them get themselves together than to help me find my son, which is urgent. I don't got time to babysit and help some other police department who messed up. No, find my son. You can use it do that on your own time to try to bolster your blue with some other police department that obviously low budget and everything else going on with them. And like I said, the crimes, the little issues they got with the truth. So that type of stuff. All right. And thank you so much. Yes, it's been 16 plus months. Been a long time. All right. Thank you, Monica. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it again for you guys coming in. Again, I kind of hard to let go right now. Now I'm back into it. But thank you so much, you guys, for this Q&A, being here. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats again, like I said. And I will catch you guys on the next Q&A. I would definitely put some more information as I can as I go. I'm still working on that timeline whenever I get moments. Like I really was happy for the Thanksgiving. And I'll be honest with Thanksgiving, I'll say, oh, yeah, I'm utilize that time to catch up with everything that I need to catch up on, some of the small details of things. But I had to spend time with my daughter. You guys, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you may have seen that I was able to spend time with my daughter. My daughter, she's the youngest of them all, and she, had been missing. She know her brother. She's been suffering herself. I don't speak about her a lot. She's young, 15 years old, and she's been suffering. Her and Daniel's really close. When they see each other, they get a little. I call it a little click. Sometimes to smile. They go off on their little own, and they have their little click. They talk about, brother, sister thing, whatever they do. And so I missed seeing that with her and Daniel. But one thing she knows, I'm out searching for her brother, right? But she used to seeing me almost every day. She only lived a few miles away from me. And, just seeing her almost every day and spending the weekends or whatever. When she's out of school, she's spending the summer. So she missed all of that for a year and some months now. she wasn't getting it. So when I was here for Thanksgiving, it was very, very pleasant to spend a lot of time with her. I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad too, and I want to be able to give her all the time that she deserves as well. Daniel know that. I am with all of them, and so um, you know you know so it's hard to kind of juggle two things at the same time to make sure everything work out the way it does. But that's why I say, you guys, the support, I really appreciate it. Thank you for saying what you're saying, Monica. I just seen that. David, please remember you have more love and prayer, and hope then you realize. Keep searching for your beautiful baby son. I will. That's my job. It's my birthright as a father. That's what God created us to be protectors for our family. So, and providers and everything else. So the whole point is my birthright, and I love my son, of course, and definitely, yeah. And I'm not gonna, give up on him. Daniel don't give up on anything. I'm definitely not gonna give it up on him as well. And so thank you so much, Monica, for saying that. And let's see who else I got. And that's it. Thank you so much, you guys. Love you. And let's see here. Love you guys. I see more stuff on the bottom. But thank you so much. I really appreciate all the love. You guys are speaking right now, and I really appreciate it. God bless you. All right. See y'all on the next Q&A. Take care of yourself.